Some men are unforgettable, not because they try too hard, but because they carry a presence that quietly commands respect and desire. You might have noticed women holding on tightly, fighting silently to keep certain men close. But have you ever wondered why? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden truths behind the men women can't let go of and why it's not just about love. It's about something deeper that speaks directly to her heart. Emotional security is the silent language that a woman senses before she hears a single word. And it is often the invisible force that makes her fight to keep a man close. It is not about constant reassurance or dramatic gestures. It is about the steady, unwavering presence of someone who embodies calm in the midst of chaos. Someone who can absorb the storms of life without collapsing under pressure. A man who offers emotional security does not react impulsively to every challenge or let his mood dictate the tone of a relationship. Instead, he demonstrates resilience and composure that becomes a refuge for the woman who feels the weight of the world on her shoulders. She notices the subtle ways he handles difficulty, the way he listens without judgment, the way he speaks without the need to prove himself, and she instinctively recognizes that being with him feels safe in a way she cannot articulate, a feeling that becomes addictive over time. Emotional security is about consistency, about showing up without pretense or manipulation, and it is communicated in the small, almost invisible actions that reveal a man's character more than words ever could. It is in the way he maintains his boundaries without being cold, the way he keeps his promises even when no one is watching, and the way he communicates with clarity and calmness instead of anger or frustration. Women are naturally attuned to these patterns. They can sense when a man's energy is steady, when he is not easily rattled, when his mood and decisions are rooted in awareness rather than reaction. That awareness creates an invisible anchor in her life, a reassurance that she can trust him not only with her time and attention, but with her emotions, her vulnerabilities, and the parts of herself she usually hides from the world because she knows he will not exploit them, will not demand control, and will not let fear or insecurity dictate his actions. It is also about the unspoken understanding that life will present challenges and he will remain a source of balance and support without losing his own center. Emotional security means that disagreements, misunderstandings, and moments of tension are handled with patience and perspective, never escalating into unnecessary conflict. And it is in these moments that a woman sees the depth of his stability. She recognizes that he is capable of holding space for her fears and anxieties without being overwhelmed, that he can navigate difficult emotions without resentment or blame, and that his presence alone can calm the turbulence within her, creating a sense of safety that she cannot find elsewhere and that she fights to preserve. Unshakable confidence is the quiet force that draws people in before they even realize why. And it is the kind of energy that a woman senses instantly, compelling her to fight to keep a man who carries it effortlessly. It is not arrogance or a need to dominate. It is a deep internal knowing of one's worth and the ability to move through life without seeking constant validation or approval from others. A man with unshakable confidence does not flinch in the face of judgment, criticism, or societal expectations, and he does not bend or compromise his identity to fit someone else's mold. Women notice the difference immediately because confidence radiates from more than words. It is in his posture, his voice, his decisions, and the way he navigates challenges. It is a magnetic presence that communicates without effort that he is whole, that he is enough, and that his life is guided by clarity rather than fear. This Confidence manifests in the ability to remain calm and composed when situations become tense or unpredictable, in the courage to stand by one's values and beliefs, even when it is unpopular or inconvenient, and in the subtle power of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Women are drawn to men who exude this kind of assurance because it signals stability and strength, not control or dominance. They sense that such a man will not crumble under pressure, will not compromise his integrity for temporary gain, and will not allow insecurity to dictate his actions. This is the confidence that comes from years of self-awareness, from understanding strengths and weaknesses, from accepting one's past without letting it define the future, and from having the courage to pursue a life that aligns with one's purpose without fear of judgment or rejection. Unshakable confidence is also demonstrated in the way a man interacts with the world, the subtle charisma in how he carries himself, the ease with which he navigates social dynamics, and the quiet certainty that he will handle any challenge that comes his way. It is reflected in his independence, his ability to make decisions without overthinking, and his refusal to compromise on standards that matter to him. Women notice these qualities because they create a sense of safety and admiration, a desire to be near someone who embodies strength without aggression, assurance without pretense, and a calm, unwavering presence that anchors them even in moments of uncertainty, making them fight to remain close to someone whose confidence cannot be shaken. High value energy is not something that can be taught or faked. It is a living presence, a way of being that communicates worth and purpose without a single word. And it is this energy that women instinctively sustain, NC, and fight to keep. It is rooted in the understanding that life is not about chasing approval or seeking validation, but about creating a reality that aligns with one's own values and vision. A man with high value energy carries himself differently. His attention is deliberate, his time is protected, and his actions reflect intention rather than impulse. Women are drawn to this energy because it signals that he is rare, that he is someone who knows his place in the world and refuses to settle for anything less than what complements his life, and that he is not easily swayed by external pressures or fleeting desires. This energy is also expressed through focus and discipline, the kind that turns goals into achievements and dreams into realities. A man who consistently invests in himself, his growth, and his ambitions creates an aura of attraction that is magnetic and undeniable. Women feel it in the way he speaks, in the way he handles challenges, and in the way he prioritizes what truly matters to him. It is not boastful or attention-seeking. It is subtle, authentic, and deeply compelling because it comes from a place of genuine self-respect. High-value energy commands attention without demanding it, and it inspires admiration, respect, and desire, not because of superficial charm, but because the woman senses that he is moving through life with purpose and clarity, and she feels compelled to hold onto something that elevates her just by being near it. Moreover, high-value energy is inseparable from boundaries and self-awareness. A man who understands his worth does not tolerate disrespect. He does not compromise his standards, and he does not waste time on things or people that drain his energy. Women fight to keep him because they recognize that he is not easily replaceable, that his presence transforms environments and relationships, and that his energy sets a standard that most people cannot reach. It is in the way he handles conflict, the way he makes decisions, and the way he engages with the world with authenticity and integrity, being Around him feels like stepping into a higher frequency, a space where purpose, confidence, and self-respect merge seamlessly. And it is this energy that women recognize instinctively and cling to because they know it cannot be recreated or found. Elsewhere, non-neediness is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess, and it is the invisible force that makes women fight to keep him close. It is not about indifference or emotional coldness. It is about a man who is complete in himself, who does not rely on constant validation or attention to feel worthy, and who approaches relationships from a place of abundance rather than desperation. Women sense this immediately because neediness, even when disguised as care or affection, creates subtle tension and insecurity, whereas non-neediness communicates stability, strength, and freedom. A man who is non-needy does not chase, does not over-apologize, and does not manipulate situations to secure affection. Instead, he operates from self-respect and clarity, showing that he has his own life, passions, and purpose that are not dependent on anyone else's approval or presence. Non-neediness also manifests in emotional resilience. A man who does not demand constant reassurance can face challenges, conflicts, or even moments of uncertainty with composure without projecting his fears onto the woman he is with. Women are instinctively drawn to this kind of energy because it creates a safe space where they can be themselves without feeling suffocated or pressured. It is the confidence of knowing that the relationship is not a lifeline but a choice, and that he is present because he wants to be, not because he fears losing her. This freedom is intoxicating because it awakens desire, admiration, and a sense of respect. She recognizes that he is not easily controlled, that he cannot be bought with attention or manipulated with emotion, and that his heart and mind operate on a higher level of integrity and awareness. Furthermore, non-neediness is intertwined with independence and boundaries. A man who maintains his own life, friendships, ambitions, and routines demonstrates that he values himself and his time, which in turn signals to women that he is not reliant on their presence to feel fulfilled. He is generous with his attention because it comes from choice, not necessity. And this distinction is crucial because it creates tension in the healthiest way, a pull rather than a push, a desire to be near him without fear of losing him. Women fight to keep this kind of man because they instinctively understand that his independence is rare, that it elevates the relationship above ordinary attachment, and that being with someone who is complete in himself challenges them to rise, to value themselves, and to cultivate the same level of respect and strength that he naturally embodies. Consistent respect and integrity are the invisible pillars that make a woman fight to keep a man because they communicate value far more than words ever could, and they create a sense of safety and admiration that cannot be manufactured. Respect is not conditional. It is shown not only in the way a man treats the woman he loves, but also in the way he treats those around him, from strangers to colleagues, and even to those he disagrees with. Women sense immediately whether a man's respect is genuine or performative. And there is an undeniable magnetism to someone whose actions are rooted in authenticity. Integrity is the quiet backbone of his character, reflected in the alignment between his words and his actions, in his unwillingness to compromise his principles for convenience, and in the way he approaches life with honesty, fairness, and responsibility. It is not just about doing the right thing when someone is watching. It is about doing it consistently, even when no one is paying attention. And that unwavering alignment of values and behavior communicates a strength that women naturally gravitate toward, the combination of respect and integrity creates a magnetic consistency that women recognize instinctively, a sense that she can trust him with her heart, her emotions, and the parts of herself she rarely reveals. It is in the way he listens without judgment, the way he acknowledges her boundaries without resentment, and the way he honors commitments without compromise. This kind of man does not manipulate, deceive, or play games to win affection. Instead, he leads with honesty, speaks with transparency, and demonstrates through his actions that he is a safe, reliable presence. Women are drawn to this consistency because it reflects a deep self-respect, and they fight to hold on to someone who not only values them, but also operates from a higher moral standard that elevates the relationship beyond superficial attraction. Integrity also extends to his choices, his ambitions, and the way he navigates challenges. A man who acts with honor under pressure, who maintains his composure and fairness, even when confronted with adversity, signals stability and strength that women crave. They instinctively recognize that being with a man who consistently shows respect and integrity is rare, that it is not something to take for granted, and that losing such a presence would leave a void that few others could fill. This is why women fight to keep him close, not out of fear, but because the value he embodies is transformative, uplifting, and life-affirming, creating a bond that is rooted in trust, admiration, and genuine desire. Challenge and mystery are the hidden currents that make women fight to keep a man. The subtle but powerful forces that awaken desire and fascination in ways that comfort and predictability never can. It is not about being cold or distant for the sake of manipulation. It is about cultivating a presence that is complete, intriguing, and layered. A man who does know reveal everything at once, who holds parts of himself sacred, and who carries an air of quiet unpredictability. Women are drawn to challenge because it engages their mind and spirit. Because A, man who is not easily possessed, who does not bend to every whim, and who maintains his standards naturally, elevates the connection to a higher frequency. This kind of man does not make himself available on demand, does not compromise his identity to please, and does not allow routine familiarity to dull the spark. And it is precisely this controlled distance and self-possession that makes her fight, because she instinctively understands that he is rare, valuable, and not easily replaced. Mystery works hand in hand with challenge, creating a dynamic that keeps emotional interest alive and constantly evolving. A man who reveals himself gradually, who allows the woman to discover new layers of his personality over time, creates a sense of curiosity and anticipation that she cannot ignore. She becomes engaged not just in the relationship, but in the journey of understanding him, decoding the depth of his mind, his values, and his vision for life. This sense of mystery triggers desire because it is rooted in authenticity. He is not playing games, but neither does he give everything away immediately. And this balance of openness and reserve keeps her attention, her admiration, and her emotional investment. She fights for him because she feels that every effort to understand him, every step she takes to connect is meaningful, that the bond is earned rather than handed over, and that this process of discovery makes the relationship feel alive and purposeful rather than predictable or mundane. The challenge and mystery a man embodies also signals strength and independence. He does not need constant validation. He does not yield to pressure, and he does not allow himself to be fully defined by someone else's expectations. And women sense this immediately. The intrigue he carries, the unpredictability of his depth, and the way he holds space for himself and for her in a balanced way all contribute to an irresistible presence. Women fight to keep such a man because he creates an environment where desire, respect, and emotional engagement coexist naturally, where connection is built on discovery and curiosity rather than convenience, and where the energy he radiates compels her to rise, to invest, and to remain captivated by someone whose essence cannot be fully anticipated. At the core of why women fight to keep a certain kind of man lies an energy that cannot be faked, a presence that cannot be replicated, and a combination of qualities that awaken respect, desire, and admiration all at once. It is the emotional security that makes her feel safe yet alive, the unshakable confidence that inspires without intimidating, and the high value energy that elevates every interaction into something meaningful and rare. It is the non neediness that challenges her to value herself, the consistent respect and integrity that builds trust and admiration over time, and the challenge and mystery that keeps her heart and mind engaged in a way that comfort alone never could. These qualities are not superficial, and they are not about perfection. They are about a man who knows himself, honors his worth, and moves through life with purpose and authenticity. Women sense these energies instinctively. They feel the difference immediately, and they fight to hold on to something that cannot be replaced, something that transforms their lives simply by being present, because they recognize that this kind of man is rare and that being with him elevates everything around him.